To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. Friedrich Nietzsche. Here's the question no one really wants to answer. What if healing means walking away from the very thing you thought you had to fix? Most of us think we can patch up the past, rewrite the scene, get closure. But sometimes, real healing doesn't happen where you got hurt. Sometimes, the only way forward is literally forward. You know that moment when you're replaying an old argument in your head? Weeks later, months later, even years. You're in the shower, driving, sitting at work, and out of nowhere, boom, your brain drags you back to that one painful moment. You say to yourself, I should have said this. I should have walked away. I should have never trusted them. We think if we can just revisit that moment enough, we'll finally feel better. But somehow, we don't. The world tells us, go back, get closure, say your truth, fix it. It sounds wise. But here's the trap. You end up living at the scene of the damage. Still angry, still confused, still asking why. The wound doesn't close, it just becomes your home. But Nietzsche saw something deeper. He didn't believe in healing by returning. He believed in transformation through movement. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Think about that. He's not saying, fix the chaos. He's saying, move through it, let it become something new. But what most of us do is stay locked in the chaos, trying to win the old fight, rewrite the old story, as if repair only happens when we fix the past. But Nietzsche would say, true repair doesn't happen at the same spot of damage. It happens when we stop trying to win the old war and start building something beyond it. Here's the first key idea. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. Let's break that down. When you stay stuck in pain trying to make sense of betrayal, or injustice, or regret, you start becoming shaped by it. You're not just thinking about the pain. You're becoming of the pain. You start to talk like it, move like it. And here's the hard truth. You lose the part of you that was never supposed to carry that weight in the first place. Let's say someone betrayed your trust. Maybe a friend, a partner, even family. You go back and analyze every word, every sign you missed. What are you really doing? You're not healing. You're armoring up. You're saying, never again. But the armor weighs more than the wound. Nietzsche is warning us. If you keep fighting the monster, you become a version of it. Let that sit for a second. What happens when we finally stop trying to get even, or get closure, or even get understanding? We create space. And in that space, something new can be born. A new goal, a new way of living, a new self that isn't built on revenge, but on reinvention. No one can construct for you the bridge upon which precisely you must cross the stream of life. No one, but you yourself. You hear that? Not your therapist, not your ex, not your mom, your dad, or your best friend. You build the bridge. You walk it. And that bridge, it doesn't go back to the place you were hurt. It goes forward to the person you're still becoming. It's easy to want justice or clarity. But Nietzsche is telling us, don't stare into the abyss so long that it becomes you. Healing starts the moment you stop explaining yourself to ghosts. Let go of the spot, the place, the person, even the version of you that got hurt, because that version of you isn't coming back. And they weren't meant to. You don't heal by fixing the old scene. You heal by leaving it behind and becoming someone new on purpose. The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. As well, the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind. Friedrich Nietzsche. Let's break that down. The snake has a choice. Shed its skin or die inside it. Change or rot. And Nietzsche's point? You're not just healing from pain. You're shedding who you were in that pain. But that takes something hard. It takes letting go of the version of you that lived in that story. The one who was betrayed, the one who failed, the one who didn't know better. Letting go isn't weakness. It's evolution. Let me tell you about Ray. Ray built his whole identity around being the loyal friend. He was the guy who always showed up, always gave, always said yes. Until one day, the people he sacrificed everything for didn't show up for him. He burned out. He snapped. And when he finally pulled away, he felt guilty. He told me, if I stop being that guy, who even am I? That's the fear. We confuse change with abandonment. We think shedding that identity means betraying who we are. But Nietzsche is clear. If you stay frozen in an old version of yourself, you're not living, you're just repeating. And here's the kicker. Most people would rather stay broken in the identity they know than risk the unknown of becoming whole. So here's a real question for you. Are you willing to disappoint your old self, to become someone new? Because healing isn't just about letting go of the person who hurt you. It's about letting go of the person you were when they did. One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star. Friedrich Nietzsche. Let's come back to that line. It's worth repeating. One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. You know what that tells me? That healing isn't clean. It's not linear. It doesn't look like yoga retreats, soft lighting, and long walks on the beach. It looks like late nights alone, big questions with no answers, sobbing in the car, not knowing who you are anymore and starting there anyway. You might be wondering, isn't that just more pain? Yeah, it is. But there's a difference between pain that's circling and pain that's birthing something. One keeps you stuck in the loop. The other pulls you forward. Here's what that looked like for me. After a personal betrayal a few years ago, I shut down. I told myself I was processing, but really, I was stuck in the story. I replayed every conversation. I stayed angry. I wanted them to suffer, or apologize, or get it. And guess what? They didn't. Nothing changed. Until I finally stopped trying to make the pain disappear and started asking what I could create from it. That's when I started writing again. Talking honestly. Making content like this. Not from a place of resolution, but from the chaos itself. Nietzsche calls that the dancing star. Not because the pain vanished, but because something new rose up through it. So let me ask you, what could you create from your chaos? What if the wound wasn't your enemy but your opening? That's not a feel-good mantra. That's brutal truth. And it comes with a cost. You have to stop trying to go back. Stop waiting for the past to give you permission. Because Nietzsche says, invisible threads are the strongest ties. And maybe your pain is one of those threads. Not meant to hold you back, but to pull you somewhere deeper than who you were before. Here's the line I'll leave you with for now. You don't heal by erasing the chaos. You heal by learning to build in the middle of it. There's a cost to staying stuck in the past. A quiet, invisible cost. It doesn't scream. It just settles. Slowly. You stop reaching out. Stop dreaming. Stop trusting. You think you're just giving it time, but what you're really doing is freezing. Becoming a ghost in your own life. Nietzsche said, when we are tired, we are attacked by ideas we conquered long ago. You see what he means? When you stay in the place where you got hurt mentally, emotionally, you stay vulnerable to the same old pain. The regret creeps back in. The voice of not good enough returns. The feeling that healing just isn't for you begins to feel like truth. And worst of all, time keeps moving. But you don't. You look up, and it's been 5 years, 10. The person who hurt you is gone. but you are still there standing in the ruins, holding the blueprint for a house that was never going to be rebuilt. That's the danger. Not that you feel pain, but that you get used to it. If you remember nothing else from this video, take this with you. 1. Healing doesn't happen at the site of the wound. It happens when you walk away from the wreckage and start building something new. No one can build you the bridge on which you, and only you, must cross the river of life. Friedrich Nietzsche. 2. You have to shed old identities. Stop clinging to the version of yourself that got hurt. That version served its time. Let it rest. 3. Your chaos is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a better one if you're brave enough to create something from it. So here's one thing you can do today. Write down the version of yourself you're ready to leave behind. Not the person you hate. The person you've simply outgrown. Burn the paper, bury it, or just close the journal and never look back. But mark the moment. Because healing starts when you stop waiting to feel better and start becoming someone new. The higher we soar, the smaller we appear to those who cannot fly. Friedrich Nietzsche. You're allowed to outgrow your pain. You're allowed to move forward, even if no one else understands. You're allowed to become something stronger, not in spite of the damage because of it. Now, before you go, I'll leave you with this. Are you still trying to heal in the same place you were broken? Really think about that. And if the answer is yes, maybe today is the day you step in a different direction. If this spoke to something in you, I'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment, or even just one word, ready. Because if you made it this far, I know you are. Like if this helped shift your perspective. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one.